Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, Maria, Felipe.
Thank you so much. A hand of applause for the musicians for that song. That's not an easy song to sing. Amazing. Thank you guys for making it your own. A louder applause for them. That was amazing. So I was wondering what this would look like. I lived in Los Angeles for 15 years, and I spoke there at Unity of Burbank. I started the Spanish service there. I also spoke at Unity of Culver City and at various unities. So when I moved to Naples, I didn't know what it looked like, me speaking here. Like, I wasn't sure how it would happen, if I would ever speak here, if it would happen. And now I was wondering how it would look. And oh my God, it looks so good. It looks amazing. That's spirit. Just trust. No agenda. Not wondering if it was going to work or was it not going to work. Just trusting spirit. And it's interesting because before Reverend Claudia came in, I had asked Reverend Denise to be here, and she had said yes. And then like 2 or 3 weeks later, Reverend Claudia came in, and then it was just like, full speed ahead, spirit, just take me. And this is a very special day for me because a year ago tomorrow, my mom made her transition. So that's why I picked this date. So I just want to say, Mommy, this one's for you. This is gonna be so good. Just because I have a lot of energy, but she had so much energy. So if you guys see me flying out of here like a rocket and we all fly out of here, it's her fault because she just had so much passion. Right? So first off, Ari, he's going to make a special appearance, and then my husband's going to take him out. But I wanted to bring him in. Come, my darling. Stand here. I'm going to use you. Ari, come here, baby. So this is Ari, my 3-year-old. And the reason... Smile. So the reason I bring him up here is because he's part of this talk in the sense of, how do you feel when you look at him? Right? Such innocence, right? It's like every time we look at children, we're like, like we could feel their spark. There's no judgment. There's just joy. There's just innocence. And that's what I'm talking about today. That's not funny. All right, so if you want to take him outside, you guys could go play hide and seek. This is, okay, so hold on.
Ari, can you do this one? Ari, can you do this one?
All right. So you guys can go play hide and seek. See you later, Ari. Say bye to everybody. Bye. All right, so we're going to start with affirmation today. I know we've said a few today, but I want to continue on with the power of affirmation, because the power of affirmation, that's what Charles Fillmore was all about in Unity, is affirmation, affirming the truth. So I want you to say this with all conviction and with all power, which is, I am grateful. Because I know who my Father is. Right? So that is what true gratitude is. It has everything to do with live your happy. Because when you're being grateful, in true gratitude, what the Course teaches, the Course of Miracles teaches, is that you remember who your Father is. So you have that confidence and know your inheritance, who you are in truth. What's your true nature? That spark of light. That spark of light that you saw in Ari, that innocence is in every single one of us. We have the 5 basic unity principles, and one that was coming through yesterday for the service is number 2, which is our essence is of God. Therefore, we are inherently good. This God essence called the Christ was fully expressed in Jesus. Right? Now, the Christ has been here forever, for eons of time, even before Jesus. But the difference is that Jesus was the example, the full example of the Christ. And that's what we're here to model. That's what we're here to live, is that Christ self. And it's actually our true nature. So what if I told you that happiness is your inheritance and happiness is your function? What if I told you that happiness is your birthright? What if I told you, this is going to get you, what if I told you that happiness is actually you can be happy 24/7? Absolutely. You're the first one that said that. I love that. You say, can I be fearful 24/7? Yeah, I can. But can you be happy 24/7? That's the question here. When my book first came out, I was asked in various podcasts, because the title is Live Your Happy. The question was, can you be happy all the time? Are you saying that we can be happy 24/7? And you know how Claudia was talking about that spirit that moves through. It's just, something just speaks through you. And at this moment, it did speak through me. And at first, I wanted to take it back. But I said, yeah, you can be happy 24/7. And then I thought about it. And then the words came out. And the words came out, I can be happy 24/7 because I know who my Father is. We know who our Father is. When we know who our Father is, we recognize that happiness is just like love, it's just like gratitude. It's innate in us. You can't take it away. So you could be happy 24/7. Now, can we forget? Absolutely, with our stories and the novellas that we make up in our mind. He's wrong. Oh my God, money. Oh my God, the doctor said this. Oh, and we just make up these incredible stories. And guess what? What happens? We believe them. And just because we think it's true. And then guess what? We suffer. So what happens is that I always say we're under the happiness umbrella. So happiness umbrella is that vortex in God, as God. We're in the mind of God. That's our true nature. But then we know we kind of like to hang out here. I'm in control. I get to call the shots. I get to manipulate. I get to make things happen. And guess what? I get to be really arrogant, and I get to think that I can do it better than God. Guess what? I know that was like bing moment. Bing, 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 right? Bing! Because it's like you remember, oh my God, it's so true. I mean, it's kind of a very harsh thing to say that you're so arrogant, you want to take God's position away, but we do. You don't get to decide what happens in your life, when you die, when you live. It's just you. There's trust there. What we can do, what we can decide, which is a very big point in Live Your Happy, what we get to decide, which David read the book so great in that we get to decide how we're going to experience things. We get to go inside and say, do I want to experience this through love or fear? Right? I have a beautiful person I'm working with, and she's been with me for a year, and she's like one of my Live Your Happy ambassadors, and she has stage 4 cancer. And we work together, and I always tell her, you know what? You get to decide. You get to decide. Not the doctors, not your parents, not your family. You get to decide how you are going to experience this. And who are we to say when we should live or die? Who are we to say, what's going to happen or how it's going to be? Why don't we just trust in God? Why don't we just trust in that divine, that the best and highest best for you is going to be? And not necessarily might it be what you think it is. Right? So we forget. We forget, and we're here. So the circle of light is here. The umbrella is here. It's always there. And we wander off in la la land in our stories. And we play our personality self. And we play our separated self. And we play, I'm right, you're wrong self. I'm in control, right? So there's like this manipulation here, which is fine. You know what? It comes from a very innocent place. I don't want you to think I'm judging it at all. It actually helps us to have self-realization when we work on these, as David said so beautifully in the reading, get to work on our barriers. So what are your barriers? And are you willing? Are you willing to claim you're happy today? Because it could happen in an instant, in a holy instant, the Course says. Why? Because it's your dominion, it's your birthright, it's your function. And guess what? You are your Father's daughter or son. So you get to call the shots. You get to say when you get to be happy. And you get to claim that happiness now. It's your birthright. So my whole thing is, wow, we have fallen asleep in this dream. The Course talks about this. We have fallen asleep and forgotten our true nature. Fallen asleep to our Father. Falling asleep to who we are. So that when we fall asleep, we forget our birthright. Which is fine, But you need to begin to understand and know that love is normal. I feel that we've gotten into this trance of like fear is normal. Or like getting bad news is normal. Or, suffering is normal. Or, I don't know. It's like, again, if you tell somebody, hey, can you be happy 24/7? People will be like a little bit like skeptical, right? But if you say, hey, I could be depressed for 24/7, they'll be like, it's normal. Listen, this is a problem. This is a problem. But now when you recognize that you are your father's daughter or son, you get to remember again. So how about we play opposite day? How about love is normal, right? How about having perfect health is normal? And this goes beyond the body because perfect health is health in your mind, health in your thoughts, that you could be at peace and happiness regardless of what's going on in the body. There's a beautiful lesson from the Course in Miracles that says, I am not a body, I am free. And this is true, mommy, yes. My mom is here, she knows this. I am not a body, I am free. What if you go to the doctor and the doctor says to you, hey, you know what, there's some cells in your body that aren't working, something's going on. And you start twitching like, oh, crap, I'm going to get bad news here. But guess what? You get to decide. There's other cells that are working perfectly well in my body. And guess what? I get to pull back. It's like an arrow, bow and arrow. I get to pull back into the divine. I get to pull back and remember who's my father. I get to pull back and know that I have perfect cells that are working. I get to pull back and know that I'm not a body, I am free. I get to pull back and I get to remember my inheritance in God as God. And then it's party time. And that is such good news because you get to decide. So what's keeping you from living your happy is what you're thinking and believing, the thoughts, the interpretations you're making. You can make the interpretation, oh my goodness, what the doctor's saying is scary, which is fine. You got to feel it to heal it. That's fine. There's something going on here. It's a red flag. It's just an opportunity to remember you're starting to feel scared. And I love Reverend Claudia, how she was talking about introspective work and like going to spirit and listen to spirit. Spirit, I'm scared. I'm scared about this diagnosis. I'm scared about this situation. You judge it for me. Let me see it through your eyes. I don't understand what this means. I don't understand what this means. Show me what this means. I don't know. So humble, right? We don't do this. We want to play God. We want to do it better than God. We want to be arrogant instead of just laying in the arms of Spirit, laying in the arms of God and just saying, take me. Take me. It was a long process, it appears in form, for me to get to the freedom that I have in my mind. And I know it comes from the work that I do. And it really takes to be uncompromising. You got to be uncompromising. Uncompromising meaning that you begin to make no more exceptions to your happiness. I mean, really. So what do you do? You forgive even if you don't want to. You take responsibility for your life. You take responsibility for how you're going to perceive. Whoa. Mommy, thank you. We got to perceive it through joy or fear. I took for a second there. And then now I get to perceive it with love. So you get to decide. You get to decide how you are going to experience it. And that's huge. In my life, what I've done is I have been really good at that. I began very early on, about 7 years ago, to be uncompromising and to take responsibility for my life. To take complete responsibility for how I'm perceiving my life, how I'm perceiving my relationships. But most importantly, what I took into my life, which was a big thing for me, was unworthiness and abandonment issues, which is very innate in all of us. In our separation is like this unworthiness feeling, is I started to really work on that and look at that. I dug deep. I went back into my relationship with my father and the stories in my book, and I talked to my father, and I have a very big healing with my father of where I express my emotions and my feelings of how selfish could you be to leave my mom? You know, I was only 3 months old. How could you try to commit suicide like 3, 4, 5 times? Like, I mean, how selfish of you, like this anger, this rage. And guys, this is very important to purge. It's very important. I feel sometimes we want to like do a spiritual bypass. Oh, I'm unity, la la la, kumbaya, and we want to like surpass. Right? It's like even Course in Miracles, like anything, any spiritual thing, is like it's like instant gratification. I want it now. It's a process. It's a very gentle process of grace. And yes, you could have the holy instant right now, although there's work that takes place. Do you think that it was easy to look at my abandonment issues? Do you think that it was easy going back to all my relationships? Because the guidance from Spirit, this is a beautiful exercise I have in my book, of where I go back in time and I look at all my relationships. And I look at them with Spirit and how and the story I made up. So the story gets very clear. And then I get to ask Spirit, what's really real here? And this is a channeling I got for my father. Sweetheart, your father never abandoned you. Ever. It was actually a call of grace because he was very jealous and he would have hindered my purpose here in life. So he actually left this plane to be of service to me, to give me my wings so I could be full expression, and his fear wouldn't touch me. His fear wouldn't hinder me. Guess what else Spirit said? Spirit said, and guess what, sweetheart? Your father can never abandon you because your father is God, and God would never abandon you. Total different way to see it, right? That's the miracle. That's forgiveness. And with that, I did it in a lot of relationships. If my husband was here, he would ask how many. He always says that. I said, that's the past. You only remember the love you gave and the love that you received. That's what the Course says. It's all good. So my question here in closing is, the biggest thing that you can take from this is, are you willing? Course in Miracles says all you need is a little bit of willingness and miracles happen. I like to say, just to have fun and to make it light and fun, is big willingness, big fat willingness. Why? Because we're so stubborn, right? We're so stubborn. We just want to do it our way. So let's get that big fat willingness and apply it to your life. So I invite you to be uncompromising. I invite you to let go of making exceptions and compromises and go into your life and say, you know what? I'm going to forgive even if I don't want to. You know what? I'm going to take responsibility for my experience in my relationships, in my life, even if I don't want to. Guess what? When the doctor says something to me, I'm going to do my best to see this in a loving way. You know what? I'm going to try to see my money situation in a different way. I'm going to try to see my relationships in a different way. I'm going to start to realize that my relationships are mirrors and they're just mirroring to me and helping me to wake up, and that is it. There's nothing wrong here. I love you. That's the biggest prayer that I have in my life, in my relationship with my husband, my relationship in general, is how, God, show me what real love is here. Like real love, like not the love of like Jerry Maguire. Remember at the doorstep with Renee Zellweger, oh, you complete me. Oh my God, I loved that scene at that time. I loved it. They even did a song about it. I remember driving the streets of Miami with that song. I was like, oh my God, he loves her so much. That's what I experienced. Like I love that special love. I love that attention. I felt that God, that anything outside of me, God could complete me. Right? That God can't complete me. Everything outside completes me, but God doesn't. So now my prayer is, what is real love here? Show me. But a really deep prayer of the heart, and I invite you guys to take this prayer on. To really pray, to say, God, what is real love here? And then you're going to be shown. Then the first thing you're going to be shown, that your brother and your sister, anything outside of you is not your problem. That's the first thing you're going to be shown. And then you're going to get angry because you want them to be the problem. Because you don't want to be the problem. But then there's humility. There's humility, and you get to decide. And you get to know that your brother and your sister are a blessing to you. That they're just reflecting to you aspects of you that need to be healed. So today I will be doing a workshop, and this is very, very, very unique because obviously I live in Naples now, but I don't know when I'll be doing my next workshop. And I haven't done a live workshop in like a year. So I'm really excited to see what's going to come through. So if you feel calling of the heart and you want to be spontaneous, I invite you to stay. We will be doing deep work, very deep work, and it's going to be really good. Really good for understanding your true nature, really good for going deeper in your innocence in God and realizing who you are in God and as God. It's going to be so good that I've had people here, friends of mine that have driven an hour and a half to be here. Kathy, Mary Lou. Right? So that says something. Just saying. So there's something cooking. So I invite you to come and taste. It's going to be really, really powerful. And the reason I say this is just because I don't know when it's going to happen again. That moment, this workshop. So I'm going to be signing books after the service, and then I'll be doing the workshop till 2:45. For those that can't make it, I understand it could be last minute, but yeah. I'm going to go back to the card real quick. Let's say it together. Our essence is of God. Therefore, we are inherently good. This God essence called the Christ was fully expressed in Jesus. Wow, you guys are good memorizers. So I invite you to claim this service today, Live Your Happy, and just remember that living your happy is your true nature. The happiness is inherently yours. It's your birthright. It's yours always. And to remember that it's your function. So my question is, are you willing? Are you willing to show up in the light? Are you willing to let go of the barriers as best as you can? All right, so let's do this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.